that it's not only very powerful for a wide variety of topics, but it's also really useful to create test cases, which is something that we do as testers, on a daily basis. And of course, it's something that we want to make sure that we are good at. Probably you have experienced this before, but when you're working on a 3 Amigos session, or when you're working on your feature pod, when you're approaching the test case definition and you want to think and brainstorm scenarios, sometimes the user stories are not good enough. Sometimes you don't know a lot about which the edge cases could be, or you can think about a few positive and negative scenarios, but you would like to pinpoint, or you would like to troubleshoot or discuss your scenarios with someone else, or at least with an assistant, just to make sure that you are at least on the right track, to avoid leaking bugs into later stages of the development. So that's why we created what we call the test case analyzer. And the test case analyzer uses these agentic workflows in the backend. It uses them to create positive scenarios, negative scenarios, boundary scenarios. And then it has some agents that what they do is they are able to read a user story from Jira, that you can export from Jira, try to understand which will be the best way to test that story, if it's a backend story, if it's a UI story related, if it's a change on the database. And then it will delegate to these agents the creation of the test cases. And that's not all, but if you, for example, have a story that is part of a regression or is part of a test plan, and you have a backlog of test cases already created, and you want to know which test cases apply to that particular user story, you can also use the test case analyzer for that. And it will give you a list. I'm going to show you in a minute, but it will give you a list of the test cases that apply, that the models and the agentic workflows think that apply for that particular user story. I can think of many scenarios where this could come handy, but let's say that you inherit, for example, a backlog of test cases from another pod, or you're moving from pod to pod, and you don't have the business knowledge to create this plan, but you have to do it anyway because you have a hotfix or a release. Then you can use the test case analyzer to upload the user stories, upload your test case backlog, and then see which ones apply and which ones you can create to complement the ones that are already there. So it will give you at least a starting point, so you don't have to start from scratch wondering what you need to test. Test Studio, you will know that we structure, well, when you log in, you will see the projects that you have created, and inside each project, you can create a new flow. I'm going to open this one that is called MagnifAI, but I'm going to show you how it works first. So all you have to do to create an instance of the test case analyzer is to create a new flow, and you can call it, I don't know, TCI demo. And then you will what you will have to do is you have to pick the test case analyzer. And then the test case analyzer is going to ask you for two files, right? The first one is the user stories that you want these agentic workflows to analyze and to understand. And then you can also upload your test case backlog. In this case, the format supported is CSV. Eventually, as an evolution of this model, what we want to do is for you to be able to integrate it with Jira and directly. So instead of having to upload a file, you can point to the Jira link of where your story is, and the test case analyzer will read it from there. This is something that will come on our I think on our next release. But it's something that we are already working And yeah, we really want to make it available for everyone. So I have so what I have done here is I have already exported some user stories from Shira that I'm going to upload here in CSV, right? And on this scenario, I'm not going to input any type of test cases. So what a test case analyzer is going to do is it's going to read the user story and it's going to suggest me new test cases for that particular requirement. So I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to run. And I can go to the flow executions. And oh, this is already executed. Let's see what happened. Finished. Okay. So here, what you're seeing is what I did was I double clicked the job that we just created, and I went to this eye here where you can see the results. And here you will see a description of the user story that we just uploaded in a CSV format, right? This is kind of a summary of the description. And this user story was to change or to update a payment processing API. And since we didn't upload any test case backlog, any test cases, what we're getting here is the list of 30 new test cases that we can scroll and look that apply for that particular scenario. So this is kind of the result if you're looking to generate new tests, right? Now you don't have to go to the assistant and have an interaction and ask for boundary scenarios and positive scenarios and negative scenarios, or you don't have to run the manual test case generation model multiple times. This will iterate for you through the different type of test cases that can be created and generate a list which cover the functionality. One thing you can do is you can select them all or just a few of them, and then you can scroll down and you can download a CSV. And with this CSV, you can upload it directly to Shira, if there's an X-ray, for example, or to any other test case manager that you are using. And I'm also going to do another run, so you can see how it works when you already have a test case backlog. So I'm going to work with this user story, and now I'm going to upload it as CSV that has a subset of test cases, which were already created for that feature. I'm not sure if all the test cases apply, or if they cover 100% of the functionality, but let's run it and let's see what happens. We will give it a few seconds to see if it finishes. If we see that it's taking longer, I already have a few results ready for you to see. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can use the chat or you can use the Q&A. If something is not clear at all, or if you want me to go back and explain something else in detail, we can do that as well. Just let me know, Jenny or Chris, if you're looking at the chat. I don't know where the Zoom window went, so I'm trying to find it. Oh, okay, good. Okay, it's still in progress. Let's give it a few more seconds.
I have a question for Guido. Do
Sure.
we need to respect a particular format for the input files?
No, for the user stories, any export from Shira will work. It will focus on what it will do. What these agentic workflows will do is we'll try to do an interpretation of the ticket. So yeah, you can try with a default export of the CSV. And if for some reason it's not working, or if you feel that it's not being able to understand what the description and the acceptance criteria are, you can let us know. But it should be pretty flexible in terms of how it understands the ticket. Okay, let's go to the results. Okay, so here you will see the description of the user story and the title. And the difference that you will see from what I just showed you is that on test case results, you have 20 new test cases and 10 that matched. And this happened because I uploaded a backlog, I don't know of how many tests, maybe 30, 35. And what the agentic workflows did was, okay, they reviewed each test case against the user story and see which ones apply, and also looked for some gaps in terms of coverage. So here you can see the ones that matched. These are part of the CSV that I uploaded. And you will see that it also just suggested new tests that you can use and you can cover. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're building a test plan, if you're applying a regression, this could come handy because it will tell you at least some scenarios that you can use to start testing and some ideas to complement them. It could work if you are reviewing the backlog for a user story or you're doing some cleanup and you want to know which ones you need to keep and which ones that are not so useful or duplicated. The ones that do not appear as matched or as part of the new ones, well, you can probably deprecate them or at least label them to review. And if you are starting with a feature as well, you can go here and just upload the user stories and see what you get. At least it's a starting point. And since the different agents, the agentic workflows, they work in parallel and they do multiple calls to the models, you don't have the limitations that probably the normal or the regular assistants like the Glow and Chat or the ChatGPT have, that you have a token limit. Probably you have heard about token limits in responses. Is that these models can, like the ones from GPT, Claude, Gemini, they can understand and they can process a lot of information, but they are limited in their output. If their output costs a lot of cloud computing and a lot of processing, so in order to give you response in time, they have to limit the amount of tokens and the amount of words that they can produce. When you have agentic workflows, well, this is no, I don't want to say it's no longer a problem, but it's less of a problem because you have multiple queries at the same time. So you are using multiple calls to the model to overcome that limitation. As you can see here the amount of test cases that you have generated are not something that you will get, for example, on a single call to an assistant. This is more detailed and has more information probably. The results can be customized. Here we're using Gherkin, but you can use Azure DevOps format for the output. This is because it's a demo. But if you have for your project, if you have a specific requirement on how you want the test cases to look like, that can be configured, of course.